Well, hello everyone. You're here to show you that the file art coloring right here is talking about is working with files, and with most of us here have ever seen or heard about. It's like with the stuff, but it's like for file cabinets about following your bills. It could be bills or it could be paperwork, but of course in this activity right here is that talking about is like ways to handle your bills. They keep them organized, and it's like with the file, and which most of us here would probably think that with bills that more likely that how it's like there comes to that question to where how they came to your mailbox. You say how they came to your mailbox, how they came to your account, and the amount of money that's due on them, and then of course about the overwhelming pile up it is of keeping them organized. But of course this activity right here is profile art. Is talk about it's like say something what you call as artistic, as it's talking about with most of us. If we ever gotten this, like you say a loan, it could be a loan, or it could be see here, go ahead and write that down. But if most of us have ever thought about maybe it's like a loan, or it could be a lien, or anything like that, borrowed any type of anything related to borrowing money, or say or creating an account, or using a debit or a credit card, and then along with organizing and then paying online. But most of us would probably say that they probably gone through the experience of you say with filing our taxes, about ordering stuff, shopping online, that a lot of times is that there would be a form that you would have to you click accept as I read through it, and then you click is that if you agree or disagree, such and such stuff like that. And that a lot of times that is like whenever if you were to agree to a form, or if you were sign a form, that a lot of times that you were what you call be bound to say agreeing to whatever whatever the contract, whatever the form, you say compromise to whatever the paperwork said. And of course that this typical stuff that more likely that I guess maybe you would not even understand if you were in like the preschool and grade school years, that whenever you're 5-6 years old, that a lot of times is that with homework that your homework is pretty much is that doing whatever that work that the teacher tells you to do, and such and such you're memorizing your ABCs, and of course it's like keeping up with your schoolwork and your grades and stuff. But profile art is talking about is like if you got the key right there, say on the left right here, and then along with the time clock, and then along with the word create, you got the file cabinet right here. It's talking about is that this activity right here is what I went ahead and did. Of course, it's like with talking about is with like artistic say talents, is that I got a little image right here of say a little coloring right here of me. But basically, if whenever we pay bills, that it's like that we pay them for, we say how they are delivered, say to our mailbox, and to how they were managed online. Or if you were to pay them to your Android or your iPhone 5 or whatever, and a lot of times that a lot of people would probably say whenever they pay bills that a lot of times that they get really frustrated, like kind of like me, is that whenever the payments are what you call overwhelming, and that they're a little bit more expensive than what you think it is, or and such and such, about companies for whatever that money that's due to them, that they send you a bill, and then you have to work out payments with them. But on the other hand too, that we can probably think about is that when we get a bill, a lot of times they say that that's what you're pretty much doing is you're creating you are creating the bill, or it's like somebody created it and then now they're billing you for whatever. And especially for like a student loan or auto loan, that whatever form that you sign, that more likely that you're responsible for contacting them for any late payments you say that's due or whatever. But of course this activity is talking about is that things you can do is like to help yourself or whoever that maybe the company also is by. It's like is if you were to want to do something like this, if you want to draw like a little self-portrait of yourself, and basically talking about is that how to keep everything organized, and with the paperwork that with most of us, I would probably say if I had a list of all the bills, I would probably say that with the bills I have to pay, I mainly use my debit or credit card a lot of times, pay online, and a lot of times I would probably say that I could probably tell you right now that credit card and debit cards is my top worst. And why is it that it's the top worst? Well, one that whenever the payments are due, it's like a lot of times that the payments have to be due at a certain time, and then I guess they paid at a certain way, and a couple of times I've had my aggravations trying to get logged on to my account, and a lot of times that people probably say that if you with online bill pay, you have access to it 24 hours a day. It's like between day and night. But on the other hand too, that there's probably a lot of people who pay their bills online whenever they do online shopping, that they don't really want to mess with all that stuff. They don't really want to mess with the fact about hey, that you can always pay online. You can always pay online, or or mail us a payment at this postal address or whatever. But then on the other hand too, that you could probably think about is that really that if you were to pay online, that it would save you money, say, and then you would have easy access. If you use your online service, they may award you with a certain amount of money. But other than that, it's like then you have these different colors right here. You got the blue, and then the red, and then along with the green, yes, and such. It's like that see the activity could maybe go on. It's like it could be about maybe a 15-20 minute activity that try to get through it here, but within about maybe 15 minutes. But yeah, right here is talking about is that with file art, that with most of us would probably say that paying your bill online, or maybe paying it by postal or by over the phone, is like you think about, it's like kind of like a cloud, that the cloud's going to change colors and change shape as it is, and a lot of times that it goes by the fact about maybe the bill is going to change on you, the amount due is going to be a little bit more expensive than what you thought it was, or that they want their payment sooner or later. It's like, say, so far as rainbow type colors. But I would probably say that you begin to wonder that we create the bills, we create the bills, and we are sent the bills. The bills come to our mailbox a lot of times. But you begin to wonder, is that we create them, and then we're supposed to manage them and stuff. But the one thing we all begin to wonder is that that we deal with them, and then of course we didn't really ask for them, and then other than that, we may have asked for them a couple of times, whatever it is. But then on your hand too, that you begin to wonder, we create the bills, and sometimes they are just hard to organize, and you begin to wonder a lot of times that why is it that we create our own, we create our own problems, or we create maybe some of the problems or a few of the problems, and sometimes that we come to that point where it's like, how do we handle the situation? Good question. And I guess the best answer is that the best that we can do, of course, is organizing. Is like you say, so far as doing our homework, is knowing about the best ways of managing them. The best ways of managing our bills. I could probably say that our bills, and I can say that my bills as well. But anyway, what you have right here is you got these labels and stuff like that. But you got the labels that would pretty much represent is like, how to keep them organized, and then that, you have right here is the key, and then the key that would represent is like, that, unlocking, you see the file cabinet, the key to the username and password, how to get logged on or whatever onto your account on, you just say is if you were to pay your bill online. But basically for file art is talking about is that the good ways of how to manage, our own debt, and then our own bills and stuff. That a lot of times you could probably think about that really, all the companies really want is your money. It's like if they don't get their payment on time, then more likely that they're going to get on to you about it or whatever. But then on the other hand too, that you can also think about is that ways that maybe you can help by keeping up with the payments is knowing about whenever the payment is due, and then whatever the file, whatever it's on file, and this type of activity right here, of course, that I have something related to this on file, but it's like a little activity that you can put together. It's something that you create, that you create it, and then keep it on file just to kind of remind yourself about that, the creative activity that you did, to help yourself, maybe get a little bit caught up on whatever that you need to do so far as handling the finances, handling the budget it is. But so far as the best answer for that, of course, would be is that is to other than it's like with the budget and then organize, is like an activity is that our homework would be is to create some type of do some type of activity to where if you want to include a picture of yourself or something, and then that just be creative at it. I would suggest that with me that with the bills and paperwork that I gotta do, a lot of times I keep them on file. But then on the other hand too, that we can also think about is that of course there's always an option, I should say, of what you can do with the variety of colors that you can use to what you gotta do to be able to keep your bills paid and paperwork organized and stuff. But then on the other hand too, the one thing to know is to help not get behind too far on the bills, is knowing about is like exactly about what you create, what you created, and then to know about what you're responsible for. What I'm responsible for is that if I make a mess, I gotta clean it up. It's like just like if I spill chocolate milk on my shirt, and that more likely I gotta clean it up somehow. But other than that, is that it's like with the accounting and the online and the organizing, and that so far is how do we say for the file art coloring, is it so far with me is that it's like the things that we learned about almost every day, is that we can create, say that create a username and create a password. Maybe you create a key, and then maybe what you say create a file to keep everything organized. But then the one thing that of course that maybe we don't really create, of course, is maybe about the amount, the amount that's due on the bill, and then of course the location for wherever the address wherever it needs to go in order to get paid. But other than that, is that we can also think about is that the things that we don't create that more likely we can think about is like hey, I wonder what was the company named after. But other than that, is that you got right here for the file art and file art coloring.